Hello everyone. Today we're going to be looking at some different graphs of functions. So let's start out with a nice introductory problem. The graph of y equals f of x is shown on the right. Part A asks us to find f of negative 5 minus 3, f of negative 1 minus 3, and f of 3 minus 3. So, in order to solve part A, we have to determine, well, let's start out with the first one. What is f of negative 5? So, in order to determine that, we realize the x value is negative 5. So let's go to negative 5 on the x-axis, which is right there. And then count the y value. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is the point negative 5, positive 7. Okay, so if that's what f of negative 5 is, then what is f of negative 5 minus 3? Well, you're taking the value of the function and subtracting 3. And just like how we added a minus 3 on the left-hand side, in order to balance the equation, let's subtract it on the right-hand side. And then we have 7 minus 3, which is 4. So our new value would be at negative 5 to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. Now, how about for the other one? F of negative 1 minus 3. So what's f of negative 1? Well, let's go to negative 1 direction and then go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Therefore, f of negative 1 minus 3 is the same value as 4 minus 3, which is just 1. So the new value would be negative 1, positive 1. And finally, for part A, we have f of 3, which is, well, 1, 2, 3, 0. Therefore, f of 3 minus 3 is going to be 0 minus 3, which is negative 3. So that would be located down here. And I'll color those in with a different color now. So I'll plot that in red so we note the different spots. Okay, so that takes care of part A. How about part B? Graph the function y equals f of x minus 3. Well, we have the first couple of points already. Now we just have to kind of take some other key points on the graph and connect them. Now, we notice the general trend is just going down 3 values. That's because you're taking only the y value and subtracting 3 from it. So, let's go to like this point, for instance, and we want to go down 3 spots. So 1, 2, 3. Let's color that in red. And we have this endpoint down 1, 2, 3. And that should be enough to get us to where we want to be. So let's connect those points. Just as we saw earlier. And we get our new function. So what we have in red is f of x minus 3. And we notice, yeah, it's just the regular graph shifted down 3 spaces on the y-axis. Part C asks us, suppose f is a function, how is the graph of y equals f of x related to the graph of y equals f of x plus k, where k is some positive constant? What if k is negative? Well, we looked at an example where k is negative with this negative 3. And we saw that it downshifts 3 spaces. So, if k is negative, the graph shifts down, not 3 spaces, but k spaces. If k is positive, you don't really have to imagine very hard to see where it would be. If it was a positive value, then since you'd be taking your y or your f of x values and going up in the positive direction, your graph would shift upward. The graph shifts up k spaces. And that is it for our first problem.